Hello and welcome back to my channel. And today we're going to discuss about the continent of Europe and start its mapping portion. So, Europe is the continent which shares land boundary only with Asia. So, we have read about the Ural Mountains, the Ural River, and the Caucasus Mountains. So, these are basically the land boundaries between Europe and Asia. So Europe is called as the peninsula of the peninsulas. Peninsula is basically a landmass which is surrounded on three sides by water bodies. India is also a peninsula because towards our west we have the Arabian Sea, towards our right we have the Bay of Bengal, and towards the south there is the Indian Ocean. So on similar terms, Europe is called the peninsula of peninsulas. It is surrounded by the Atlantic towards its west, Arctic to the north, and Mediterranean to the south. The highest point of Europe is Mount Elbrus. It is in the Caucasus Mountains. So the countries near the Caucasus Mountains are GAZ, which is Georgia, uh, Armenia, and Azerbaijan. So basically, it should be GAAZ. This is a Europe. Then the lowest point of Europe is the Caspian Sea. So in the previous video, we have read about the countries surrounding Caspian Sea. Do check it out. Moving on to the water bodies in Europe. So the most prominent water bodies are first is the North Sea. We also had a question about North Sea in prelims previous years. Then we have the Baltic Sea, Black Sea, Aegean Sea. Basically, the capital of Athens. The capital city of Athens lies over here. Then the Mediterranean Sea, which we have discussed in great detail in our previous videos. The Adriatic Sea near to Italy. This is basically the Strait of Gibraltar, a narrow strait which separates the continents of Europe and Africa. Then the Bay of Biscay, uh, Irish Sea, the water body between Ireland and UK. This is the Irish Sea, and towards the north is the Norwegian Sea. These are basically the important seas which have been in use for some time. Some other water bodies are, this one is the White Sea to the north of Russia, then the Sea of Azov. This basically lies near to Ukraine, and the Sea of Marmara, which we have seen earlier, which basically divides the the European part of Turkey towards and the Asian part of Turkey. So Turkey is the country which lies both in Europe and in Asia. So uh, Adriatic Sea. Adriatic Sea is basically famous for its karst topography related to the glacial features. Then the Strait of Gibraltar. It connects Mediterranean Sea with the Atlantic Ocean. So this is the Mediterranean Sea, and this over here is the Atlantic Ocean. So this Strait of Gibraltar basically is strategic in its location because it actually connects Mediterranean Sea with the Atlantic Ocean. Also, you could see this as a kind of a boundary between Europe and Africa. Then the Norwegian Sea. Uh, it has a warmer temperature compared to the rest of the Arctic oceans. So the Arctic is known for colder temperatures, but Norwegian Sea has a warmer temperature because of warm ocean currents, obviously. Then the North Sea. North Sea is rich in deposits of petroleum. The Brent crude oil is extracted from here. It's derived from here. So, moving to the parts of Europe. So, the first part of Europe is the Nordic countries. These countries are the top performers in human development and clean environment programs. Nordic countries are basically the countries of Greenland, the country of Denmark, which also has Greenland and Iceland as a part of it. Then Norway, So these three countries, Norway, Sweden, and Finland, these are called as the Scandinavian countries, which are also part of the Nordic countries. So these three countries, NSF, Norway, Sweden, and Finland. And then we've read about Denmark. So Denmark is over here, but it also has its some parts of it, like Iceland and Greenland, which and Faroe Islands, which are a part of the Nordic countries. And this is also a part of Norway, Svalbard. So there are four countries for the Nordic countries, which are Norway, Sweden, Finland, and Denmark. So um, the Gotland Island in Sweden is in news. It is in the Baltic Sea. It is in news because Russia has actually breached the airspace of this Gotland Island. So Sweden and Finland, these are basically members of NATO, North Atlantic Treaty Organization, and uh, there have been some contentions between the NATO countries and Russia, as we've seen. So, anyways, that's some topic which we would need at more elaborate discussion. Then the country of Denmark. So Denmark is in news because Denmark will now tax any kind of emission from livestock from 2030. So the most prominent emission from livestock is the methane emissions, which contribute to the greenhouse gases and which would eventually lead to climate change. So Denmark will now tax any kind of emissions from livestock, not just methane, any kind of emissions. Then there is Stockholm. Stockholm is the capital of Sweden. Stockholm is obviously famous for the Stockholm Conference of 1972, which resulted in the establishment of UNEP, United Nations Environment Programme. Norway is known for fjords. We had a question about fjords in the UPSC mains. Then Iceland. Iceland is volcanically active. So you might know there was an anomaly in the naming of Greenland and Iceland. Iceland is not basically covered with ice. And this Greenland, which is the one which is covered mostly with ice. So Iceland is in news because it is volcanically active. So moving on to the other part of Europe, which is the British Isles or British Islands. These are called as the British Isles. So the terminology of British Isles. So this region over here, this is England, whose capital is London. Then over here, this is Wales. So in order to make Britain great, we need to have Scotland. This over here, England plus Wales is Britain. So Great Britain is England plus Wales plus Scotland. When you add the Northern Ireland also in these three, it becomes United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland. And this over here is the Republic of Ireland. Although this whole island part is Ireland, but the northern part, when it's joined with Scotland, Wales, and England, it becomes part of UK. And this is the Republic of Ireland, whose capital is Dublin. So to the eastern side is the Northern Sea, and you could see towards the south are the Channel Islands. These are also in news. So Glasgow is in Scotland, and Glasgow is very famous. Let me know in the comments which is the specialty or which country is the specialty for Glasgow. So, UK has become the first country to shut down or to close all thermal power plants, thermal plants. So, UK has become the first country which basically closed all the thermal power plants. This is UK over here from here to this. So, comprising of Scotland, Northern Ireland, Wales, and England. Then moving on to the other parts. So the country of France. France is basically hexagonal in shape. So like the if you decipher the boundaries, it would appear like this. So, then Spanish is the second most spoken language in the world. Spain. Spain's capital is Madrid, and it is in news because of heavy floods. Some of the towns or places in Spain which are in news are Catalonia. Catalonia is trying to separate from Spain. So there is a separatist movement going on in Catalonia. Also, there is Basque, where there is another separatist movement going on. It is said as Basque independence. Then we have the country of Belgium. Belgium is basically famous for Belgian trophies also, but cricket originated from here. Then Netherlands. Netherlands is in news because it has two important parts which are in use. First is the Holland part of the Netherlands, and also Netherlands is a territory or a landmass which is said as it's reclaimed lands from the ocean. So these lands are basically reclaimed from the ocean. So the Holland port of Netherlands is in news. Then we have the Rotterdam Convention. So the Rotterdam Convention is for the transboundary movement of hazardous chemicals. Also, World Hydrogen Summit 2024 was held in Rotterdam in Netherlands. So this is where Netherlands was news. Moving on to the countries on Baltic Sea. So this is the Baltic Sea over here. And you can see the countries surrounding Baltic Sea are Sweden, Finland, Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania. This right here is a part of Russia. Although the Russian mainland is over here, but this is a part of Russia. Russia is also connected to Baltic Sea with the Gulf of Finland, and this is St. Petersburg of Russian mainland. Then Poland, Germany, and Denmark. So in a clockwise order, it is Denmark, Sweden, Finland, Russia, Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania, Poland, and Germany. So these are the countries encompassing the Baltic Sea. So over here you could see two gulfs, this and this. So between Finland and Sweden, the gulf is called the Gulf of Bothnia, and between Finland, Russia, and Estonia, this is the Gulf of Finland. So uh, the countries Estonia, Latvia, and Lithuania are basically called the Baltic countries. And there was a Baltic singing revolution over here, a peaceful Baltic singing revolution. Moving on to the countries around North Sea. North Sea was in use, and there had been a question encompassing the borders of North Sea as well in the recent years. So the countries surrounded, uh, the countries surrounding North Sea are UK, Belgium, Netherlands, Germany, Denmark, and Norway. So it's UK, the eastern coast of UK. Then there is Belgium, whose capital is Brussels, Netherlands, whose capital is Amsterdam, then Germany, Denmark, and Norway. So moving to the Balkan countries are basically the countries which lie in the Balkan Peninsula. This right here is called as the Balkan Peninsula because it's surrounded in three sides by water. This is the Adriatic Sea, then the Ionian or the Aegean Sea, and this is the Mediterranean Sea. And towards its right is the Black Sea. So three seas: Adriatic Sea, Black Sea, and Mediterranean Sea. This is the Balkan Peninsula. The countries in the Balkan Peninsula are Slovenia, Croatia, Bosnia, Montenegro, Albania, Greece, a part of Turkey, the eastern European part of Turkey, the Western Europe, I guess. For Turkey, it's the west side. Then Macedonia, Ukraine, Bulgaria, Serbia. This uh, uh, territory was actually carved from Serbia and it's called Kosovo. It was separated in the year 2009. Then Hungary and Romania. So these are the countries from the Balkan Peninsula. So Kosovo, right over here, this part was separated from Serbia in 2009. Then the country of Macedonia It is the country from where Alexander the Great was from. Then Greece. Greece is in news because of the declining population, because of more people in the old ages. Then the countries around Black Sea. This is the Black Sea. The countries around Black Sea are Ukraine, Russia, Georgia, Turkey, Bulgaria, and Romania. This can be remembered by the mnemonic Burger plus T, where B stands for Bulgaria, U stands for Ukraine, R for Romania, GE for Georgia, other R for Russia, and obviously T for Turkey. So Burger T. So in these countries around Black Sea, Moldova is a totally landlocked country over here. Although it's not around Black Sea, it's a landlocked country, and you have to remember that it does not have its coast in the Black Sea. Then the country of Austria has its capital in Vienna, and Vienna is known for the Vienna Convention, which is for the protection of ozone layer. So the most famous country for not so good reasons right now is Ukraine, and the war between Russia and Ukraine, which is going on for more than 3 years now. So uh, the countries bordering, which the countries which share a land border with Ukraine are Belarus, Poland, Slovakia, Hungary, Romania, Moldova over here. Uh, this is Russia, and I'm not sure about this region. The so I'm not sure about this region, but over here we have the Sea of Azov, which we have read earlier. The Sea of Azov is basically between Ukraine and Russia, and towards the south is Black Sea. So Odisha is up. The ports or the prominent locations which have been in news related to Ukraine are first the Odisha port in Black Sea. The Odisha port is over here. This is the Odisha port. Then Kherson is also in news. Donbas, Donetsk, Dnipro, Dnipropetrovsk. I hope I have pronounced it clearly, but anyways, this location, Dnipropetrovsk. Then the Snake Islands. Snake Islands in news. Snake Islands are also called as Zimny. Then the Kursk region of Russia. I hope there is something. Yeah. Okay. The Snake Islands are in news. Uh, these are also called as Zimny in Black Sea. These were in news because these were attacked by Russia. Then the Kursk region of Russia. So in Russia also, it is because of the advancement of Ukraine, not Russia. The Kursk region of Russia is because of the advancement of Ukraine. Then Transnistria inside Moldova. The Russian-backed separatist movement is going on in Moldova, in Transnistria. Then Liechtenstein, it is a doubly landlocked country. So with this, we have come to an end to our discussion on the mapping portion of Europe. I hope you would have liked it, and I'll see you guys in the next video where we discuss more about the mapping portions of the other continents, and we discuss about the political and physical features and also the things which are in news in the recent times. I hope you would have liked it, and all the best for the upcoming examinations. I'll see you every day with this series, and we are now left with 41 days for the D Day.